One of the things that everybody wants to use this AI for is like having a personal assistant or something like that that can automate different kinds of work that we're doing on a daily or weekly basis, or even like do some of the work that some of our employees are doing so we can kick them out and keep the profit to ourselves. In this video, I'll go through some of the basics of like how we can actually create a simple PDF document and then turn that document into an AI assistant. So that's sort of like the basics of automations. So it's before we do all the crazy stuff. So we're simply just going to take a PDF and add a control to it and then actually turn that into an assistant that can help us write newsletters. So what we want to create in this video with this example is that we're going to create this playbook, these instructions in a PDF, where we want the AI to come up with an outline, a hook, main point, call to action. We wanted to create a draft. We wanted to redraft it into our language and see if the subject line is good. So usually what people do when they're using these language models is that you create a prompt and then you hope that this task works. So you do it like one time, there's no structure, there's no validation. I do have a video on how to create these prompts, but sometimes when you're doing things on a regular basis and they're a little bit more complicated, then it's much better to have instructions. So that's why you would create a playbook. Playbook is the same thing in the AI world as if you have an employee. So if you're going to hire someone, if you're going to take a job at McDonald's or in Maersk or in a supermarket or Walmart for that case, then you have a book with like the instruction. It says what this employee is going to do. The same thing goes for AI, and the same thing if you have an employee and they're going to make you a newsletter. It's a good idea to have a playbook on how is this employee going to write the newsletter. The same thing goes for the AI. So we're going to create the similar instructions to having an employee, and now we're just going to add it to the AI. So in this example, I wanted to complete 4 steps. So I wanted to create an outline, I wanted to make a draft, I wanted to use the brand voice, and I want to check the subject line. And this is a reusable subject, a reusable project. So it's the same thing as like Walmart employee, right? Or like McDonald's. You take any person, give them these instructions, they read them in like 2 hours, and then bam, then they are like ready to go do this task. So it's the same thing. And then we have like a control for this thing that we need to create. So 1 step at a time, check success criteria, pause for approval, and then like we're doing that to like lock the execution. But it's the same thing as having an employee, right? So we need to have some control over what is this employee doing, right? Actually, it's more important than you think if you haven't been in management. So it looks like this, right? So we have the playbook, and now we have the operating instructions. So the operating instructions for this playbook is carefully read the attached playbook in full before responding. The same as like having a normal employee. Do not summarize it. Execution rules. Execute 1 step at a time, starting with step number 1. Follow the instructions for that step exactly as written in the playbook. Do not proceed to the next step unless explicitly instructed by me. After completing each step, explicitly verify whether all success criteria for that step are met. Clearly list which criteria are met, and if they are not, then stop and wait for my input. Do not anticipate future steps. Do not combine steps. Do not optimize across steps. And here's this week's topic. So it's the same as an employee. Woo! But it's very important, right? And all jobs where we can make a control, we can make a playbook that actually does this job can be replaced by AI. So as a general rule, all the jobs that people are doing at home or they're doing over Zoom can be replaced by AI. And that is going to happen. So it's very important to understand this foundation thing. Because if you have one of those jobs, then you can be replaced by a spreadsheet, like a PDF actually, right? In many cases, right? This is a simplified thing, right? So I'm going to go through how I would prompt it, and then I'll go through what is inside this PDF with the instructions. So here it created the newsletter. So the topic I gave it is AI is going to take your job. Then it goes in step 1 and then it creates a hook. So the hook is most people are arguing whether AI will take jobs. The real question is why so many people are still doing work that already shouldn't exist. So a lot of this work, like making the newsletters or like at least doing most of these parts, right? Why are people still doing that manually, right? When you can actually get the AI to do it, and you can do it much smarter, much faster, save a lot more time. So you see, the main point here, AI isn't coming for jobs. In the abstract, it's replacing tasks, roles, and business models that rely on repetition, low leverage, and human bottlenecks. For small business owners and solopreneurs, this is either a threat or the biggest unfair advantage they'll ever get. So I'm going to think about, okay, so do I like this hook? I think this hook is good. I think the main point is good too, right? And then it comes up with like illustration, key points. We have a call to action, and then we have the success criteria here. Oh, so are this met, right? And then if I like this, I can go to the next step, or like I can give it some feedback on what it did here. Then in the next step, it will simply just draft the newsletter. So it'll draft a newsletter. AI is going to take your job, but not the way you think. And then I can go and read it. And I can like verify, do I like this thing, right? And we have the success criteria validation here. And if I like that, I can say, like, okay, let's go to next step. So now it's going to take the draft and then rewrite it in my language, or like the language we gave it. So we want it to be direct, witty, emphatic, right? And then we have the newsletter, and we can go read and like, do we like this thing, right? So everybody keeps asking the same question: is AI going to take my job? That question misses the point. Jobs don't vanish overnight. They erode slowly, quietly, one task at a time, until the role no longer makes sense to pay a human for. That process isn't coming. It's already happening. Here's the uncomfortable truth, uncomfortable part. AI isn't replacing people. It's replacing work that never deserved human time to begin with. Repetitive research, basic analysis, scheduling, drafting, summarizing. The kind of work that feels productive but creates almost no leverage. So then I say, well, I think this is cool, right? And then I go here, success criteria met. I go to the next step. It checks the subject line. Is it still cool with what it made? And if it is, then boom, now we have a newsletter. Weekly newsletter is gone. So it goes faster than when I have to explain it here, right? But I only gave it the headline, and then this is what it created, right? And then I can give it a new headline, make a new one, right? And then I can make it do the art too, right? So you can add that as steps too, that will actually create all the images and will set it up. And it can even make a PDF with the newsletter with the images inside. So you're ready to send it if you want to do that. So last part, I'm going to talk about like, how do we do that? So the instructions inside this PDF is simply the same as if I had like a worker and I wanted to give the worker the instructions. So like step 1 is like write the outline. So the instruction here is using the newsletter topic provided, outlining an engaging newsletter section by section that includes a hook, main point, illustration, and a revenue driving call to action. Example outline 1, AI tips for new business owners. Hook, why most new finders burn out in month 3. Main point, AI isn't just for code, it's for buying back time. Illustration, example of a founder automating invoicing. CTA, sign up for the Founder Freedom webinar. I have the success criteria, include a hook that grabs attention and establishes why the topic matters now. The main point should resonate with our specific audience, small business owners and solopreneurs. Explain and illustrate with 3 to 5 relevant points as an example. Include a call to action that leads to a specific product or sign up. So that is step 1 inside the PDF. Then I have step 2, write the first draft. So in this case, the instructions are using the completed newsletter outline, write the first draft of the full newsletter in a clear, engaging, and educational tone. Success criteria for this step include aim for 300 to 500 words, maintain a tone that feels expert yet conversational, the smart friend persona, informative, empowering, and easy to follow. Then step 3 is edit for brand voice. Using the newsletter draft, following our brand guidelines, and identify any off-brand phrasing or style and rewrite it. Our brand voice is direct, witty, emphatic. Success criteria for this step include ensure the language is active and avoids passive voice, remove unnecessary jargon, blah, 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 blah. And then we have step 4. Using the newsletter draft, write a compelling subject line that would make entrepreneurs curious to open the email. So the reason why I put this inside is that sometimes you start with a headline and then you write the thing and then you figure out at the end that what you wrote wasn't necessarily related to the headline you started with. And that's why it would make a new headline. Because sometimes we do get stuff that's not like what we wanted, but then we'll use it anyway. So that's why we have this one. So we'll change the headline because we still have these steps, right? And you can automate and like make it go through all these steps by itself if you want to do that, and then we can just produce these things. So this is how you do it, right? So you put that inside, right? And then we have the control, as I mentioned before, so I'm not going to go through that one again. Execute one step at a time, right? Do not skip steps. Do not anticipate future steps. Do not combine steps. And then we just save the instructions as a playbook. We put the control here, and this is the week's topic. And that's the basic, very, very basic of like automating using language model. The next cool part is like using, we have Gemini, we can use something called Gemini Gems. If we have ChatGPT, we can use something called ChatGPT Projects. That gives like amazing results. I have videos, links to videos with how to use that up here if you want to watch that. I also have a video with how to use the prompts, how to generate prompts. A little bit more detail how to structure that if you want to watch that. Else you can subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, give it a like. If you don't like it, give it a dislike. What do you think in the comments? Thanks for watching. Bye.